Good day, folks. It's Malcolm Day here. I'm wanting to get into, I've been in the crypto space for a little while now and finding out more and more in a really interesting space. And I'm really pleased to have with us today Bruce Hughes, who's going to be chatting to us. My aim at the end of the day is I'm going to be looking at a number of different coins, and I'm going to, rather than just speculating about the coins, for me, I always like to get to know what's behind the project, what's happening, trying to get the truth out. And I need to go to the project, and I need to go to people who know. Bruce is independent. He's not part of the company, but he knows, he's been involved in it, and he knows what's going on at G999. And I'm going to want to do this because that's the best place to find out information. So, excuse me. So to kick off with, Bruce, can you just tell us just a little bit about a background? I believe you've been in trading. I think you traded commodities or stocks. Is that correct? So you have a bit of knowledge in the trading space?
Yeah, Malcolm, thanks so much. I came out of the education space originally, was a teacher for 7 years, moved into leading and planting churches. For anybody who's been in ministry, you know that that's not really a way to put food on the table on a young family with 3 kids. So I did forex trading as well, did that for 7 years. Did what's considered PAM accounts, where my account is mirrored into certain other accounts as well. And then moved into the space of crypto 2016, you know, this new burgeoning market, this space that was young and exciting. So that's a little bit of my background, Malcolm.
Yeah, just a quick one on that, the forex and the crypto. That must be a bit of a change, because I mean crypto is pretty volatile compared to what's in the forex markets.
Yeah, I mean, you go from this massive forex market where you have to do leverage trading in order to really, you know, squeeze the juice out of the trade, and you come across to cryptocurrencies, and this thing will move, you know, a couple of hundred pips without breaking a sweat. So yeah, it's a completely different space. It really is.
As we've seen in the last few days, it's really been. So I think, Bruce, just to get to the whole G999 project and what's happening there, I think what would be really lovely, and I think a lot of people maybe don't know, where did the coin originate? What made this coin come about? I know we've got GS Bank and we've got Joseph Haidt and Alex Kochendow. I hope I got his name right there. Yeah, can you just give us a little bit of background so we know where this coin originated from and why it's there?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a bit of a convoluted background here. So I can only tell it from my perspective. I think that's fair, and obviously, you know, the corporate team will share their story as well, because there's a lot more development that happens in the background there. But essentially, what happened is Joseph Haidt had looked at going into the crypto and ICO space alongside another company that was attempting to launch a gold-backed cryptocurrency. And that was a 2-year convoluted ICO, with essentially an ICO within an ICO, and the difficulty there was that coming in as a big investor, representing GSB, you know, Joseph Haidt put a lot of money into that project, plus 150 million euros the last time the bank accounts were checked, and the project never really took off. Anything, it made a whole lot of promises, accepted a whole lot of money, but never hit any goalpost. And so out of frustration, and I think also out of a pretty decent business acumen, you go look at Joseph Haidt, what he's done with the GSB brand over the last 10 years, he decided to launch his own, you know, part ways with the company that couldn't launch an ICO and start over again, essentially. And Alex Kochendow, he's got a CTO who manages large teams of developers. When you look at the G999 ecosystem, you got to understand you've got a Bitcoin core with a little bit of PIVX coding blockchain that is now also moving into the G999 wrap space. So now there's obviously BSC, Binance Smart Chain, coming into that, because it makes sense to go that route. Binance Smart Chain is really putting itself out there and taking Ethereum on in the DeFi space. So it's got G999 wrapped. And with NFTs exploding at the moment, the company's brought on a development team to put together a strong NFT offering through the G999 ecosystem. So born out of fire and failure, I think, without putting the failure on GSB, and really moving into a space where you've got this company that's committed, really focused. It's got a nice gritty backstory to it, which I quite like. I like a bit of controversy. You want to back the dark horse a bit, and that's really where I came into the project. Wanted to make sure that we saw this thing succeed. A lot of people wanted to see a coin succeed off the failure of the last ICO. And so we moved in aggressively, been supporting the development teams, seen the coin launch onto 7 exchanges, hit BTC being the largest currently, through the G999 wrapped process, and having gone the route of the Binance Smart Chain, you almost get a de facto listing into Binance through that avenue as well. So that's exciting. We're building into that, and it's Malcolm, I think you know this. Every person who gets into crypto is always types when Binance, or they type when Moon. Those are the 2 shortest sentences we always see in crypto. So it's been good to see the project moving, along its roadmap and getting closer and closer to some key dates.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a little bit. I mean, there was a hard fork to get the coin going. Why did they choose to do the hard fork and not an ICO as a? Is it to try and get some recovery for the people who have put in the previous in company, or?
So I think because GSB had put money into a project and a whole community had put money into a project, there was pain there. There was real pain there. So to go and launch another ICO and take a sore community into that space probably wouldn't have been smart. The word hard fork we should probably use loosely, because if anything, we hard forked a community. We didn't really hard fork a blockchain. And it's important to understand that. Yeah. So I love the term hard fork, but let's be very clear. We hard forked a community away from a failing ICO and into a working blockchain, transparent explorers, deflationary explorers in place. So it's just been a much healthier, much more transparent, and I think smart move in understanding the market and understanding the community that's come through this. Yeah. It's not, Malcolm, maybe one point I can say, it's not easy to build communities around projects. Sure. Most crypto projects take time. Dogecoin took a lot of years before it suddenly ended up with this community. Cardano took a lot of years before it suddenly ended up with a community. So I think there was a smart business move there and how the company did this, because they essentially adopted an entire community, and that immediately gives you a really good edge in the marketplace. You want a community behind a project to represent it, to fight for it. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think before we just get onto the coin, I think what's terribly important, we look at a lot of different coins, and you mentioned Doge. I mean, that doesn't really have much utility behind it. It's a meme coin. It's got how can I say it's got a community of people who just maybe a little bit want to stir the boat a bit. I don't know, but it's slightly. But G999's got utility. Can you just give us a little breakdown of why G999 is such an exciting project to be involved in, because of the utility behind what's going on here?
So I think Malcolm, what I'm going to do is kind of helicopter view out and then bring us in closer to G999. So I think the helicopter view worth taking is, as the blockchain industry matures, and as there's evolution and adoption of more services and goods and applications, the coins, the cryptocurrencies that represent those blockchains are really going to be the ones that are standing at the end of all of this. This is a little bit like the .com bubble in the early days. There were a lot of good companies that were being listed, a lot of people putting money into it, a lot of new stock tickers hitting a whole lot of exchanges. But really what we saw when it was all said and done was the companies that had real use, real products, real services, strong development teams, clear roadmaps. Those are the companies that are still here today, the Amazons of the world, the Microsofts, etc. So what we're starting to see right now is we're seeing companies positioning themselves to give real use behind what the coin is. Right now, it's speculation space. Traders are having an absolute party in the crypto space, because there's a lot of movement and room to speculate and make profits. But it'll be the coins that have a use, products and services, a working ecosystem behind them that are here for the long run. And so when you look at G999, it's important to understand, what the company's been putting in place. One, to produce utility, but two, to be able to measure utility. It's no good saying this is what we can do, but there's no metric to measure it. How fast can you do it? How well can you do it? How secure can it be done? How transparent is it? What are the multiple applications that are built in there? And so with that as kind of the backdrop for the answer, right now G999 has already launched a pay-per-use chat app, which is called GS Telecoms. That's on the App Store and it's on the Play Store. And that really means that you've got messaging happening on the blockchain being decrypted down using some of Storage technology. So just go check out the Storage team, where they really disassemble the message, share it over different processes, and reassemble it on the other end. And with the push starting in the privacy space, privacy of data, privacy of information, privacy of messages, you look at companies moving secure data files, but having to outsource that to some server providers. What GS Telecoms and what G999 have done is they kind of put a big footprint in there and said, this is the space that we're going to attack and we're going to capture market share in. If you go look at what they've started rolling out in what's called GS Media, and that'll be launching late June into July. It's a blockchain-based media company that goes, well, we're gonna hold you responsible for what you type and what you write, because it's going to be embedded on blockchain and there's going to be memory here. Yeah. So let's have some proper investigative journalism. Let's have some accurate data and accurate reporting in place. So they're bringing blockchain into that age of responsibility that cryptos invites people into. If I lose my money in my bank, I can phone my bank up, have an argument with them. Someone pays an insurance and the money comes back. In blockchain, the buck stops with me. So we're seeing GS Media, we're seeing GS Telecoms, we're seeing it going into the DeFi space through G999 Wrapped. And that's a very pivotal space for the evolution of cryptocurrencies. I just read an article 3 weeks ago where Kraken, which is a centralized exchange, had the IRS in America get a high court order allowing them access to some of their KYC documents, to some of their clients' information. What you see in the DeFi space are decentralized exchanges, where you can go and add liquidity to those exchanges that are automated and contracted, and you get a reward. You get a small fee for doing that. So we're going to see that space growing as the centralized exchanges start decreasing, and as people start moving away from, again, sharing data and then governments accessing data and maybe not being too responsible with it. So G999 Wrapped takes us into that space. And then, the utility around NFTs, I think this is a space most people don't understand, Malcolm. I don't think we've even scratched the surface on what use NFT is going to capture out there, on what real world use is going to capture, on how you marry real world activity into this digital realm and eliminate a whole lot of middlemen, a whole lot of cost involved in the middle space. And Malcolm, with you coming from a photography background, full well what you produce here versus what is sold there. Really, the fat gets taken out of it because of how cumbersome our trust processes and making sure that can go to markets. But what if we eliminate that and we're in a trustless system of NFTs, all based on technology instead?
Yeah, look, the NFT space, I'm a big proponent of it, and I know we've discussed it and that, and yeah, we're looking at all sorts of opportunities, and I've got a couple of places where we're looking at NFTs at the moment, in a couple of businesses where we're talking to developers on my photographic side, but also on another side with just actual contracts and that ability. So NFTs is, and I'm really pleased they're moving in that direction, because that is, I think, is something that's going to be a real game changer. It's almost the bridge, I see it, between blockchain and what's that. Just a thing that I find really exciting that you mentioned the privacy, and if you look at the coins that most probably are doing the best at the moment, in growth are your privacy coins, you know, your Moneros, your Pirate Chains, your Waneros, and that they really, so that whole privacy thing is obviously very important to people. I mean, we want to control our own money, we want to control our own destiny. And I think, so I'm really pleased to hear that G999 is also moving into that space, and that people can understand that it offers that privacy element, which is really great. So yeah, I just want to move sort of a little bit away from the utility, and thanks for that. It gives us a very good indication, and it's nice to see the broadness of the utility. That's, you know, that it's not just there's a lot of substance behind this coin, which I think is terribly important. But let's move on to the actual coin itself and how many coins there are. It's a deflationary coin, and maybe we can spend a little bit of time explaining for people who aren't quite sure. I know Ethereum's moving to make their coin deflationary. It is the new way of doing things. And then we've got the proof of stake, so we can explain, because we've got, I think it's 16.8 billion coins were originally there. We're down to, with deflationary amount of coins, we're about 16.2, I think, billion coins that have, so those coins have been burnt in a few months, which is quite phenomenal. So could you just give us a little breakdown of how those coins come into being and how that deflationary system works?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So let's take it back to proof of stake, just in case you got people watching this and maybe new to cryptocurrencies. There are two ways that currently, two main ways, and again, broad brushstrokes here, that blockchains are kept secure and that transactions are verified. One is proof of work, which is processor intensive. So warehouses of processors that are constantly solving the cryptography that protects data or transactions moving from point A to point B. That's proof of work. On the other side, we got proof of stake, where you, as a holder of coins, stake a certain amount of coins. In other words, you raise your hand and you say, I'm investing into my coins being, one, locked out of circulation, and two, adding a layer of security where processors will keep the data secure, but because you are paying for it or almost putting some collateral down for it, when those transactions are verified, you receive a reward for it. So one is greener than the other. It is worth saying though that even in the proof of work area, which is Bitcoin, that's still greener than our entire financial system when you start looking at how banks and ATMs.
I saw that, yeah. Good to know.
So it is, I just want to say that. I just want to say it because there's always someone who goes, oh, it's like, you know, anyway. So one is proof of stake. Now, there's different types of security measures in place with proof of stake. With G999, it's a 2-layer security system, which means 2 layers of security in place to verify transactions and make sure the cryptography keeps those transactions secure. One is through staking and one is through noding. So, and again, I'm giving broad brushstrokes here. So the more technical guys, you can go and, you know, put in the corrections if you wish to. Noding means that there are a certain amount of processor nodes split all over the world that you, as a person, go and put coins into. So you take them off the market and you say, I'm adding in the first layer of security to help our entire blockchain function. And in the case of G999, there's only 4,000 nodes. There's then a second layer of security in place, which is called staking. It takes a less amount of coins to put up your hand and say, I'm staking, but that adds in a second layer of security that also verifies transactions. Now, the way that works is with G999, the speed of our blocks. In other words, the number of transactions that are being processed in 1-minute blocks. With Bitcoin, it's a 10-minute block. And because of that 1-minute block, the reward that's paid out to noders and the reward that's paid out to stakers is set. So there's 400, I'm going to get my maths wrong here. I think it's 427 coins to the noders and 142 coins to the stakers. So, you know, the irony is I'm noding and staking. Yeah. I could probably just go to my computer and look, but it's
570. Is it 570?
Yeah, it's 570 splits 400 and something to noders,
Okay,
and 140 something to stakers every minute.
Yeah. Okay, with you.
So that's how coins enter into the system. And when people go, but where are they coming from? The cryptography essentially creates coins in order to reward stakers and noders for protecting the ecosystem. But it's coded in such a way that it'll never be more than those two payments: 420 something to the noders, 100 and something to the stakers, which adds up to 500 and something once a minute. That's it.
Okay.
Now on the other side, which is interesting, is that there are also coins going out the ecosystem. So there's a set number coming in, 500 and something odd, 520 odd, but then there's a dynamic number going out. And that dynamic number is based on what we call burn fees or gas fees. So when somebody is sending a message on GS Telecom, there's a fee to that. And a certain number of coins get burnt out the system. They get sent to a wallet that no one can ever access again. And that happens with all products and services. So there's also within the company, there's a crypto debit card and a banking platform on our back end that when our cards are swiped or when we pay our monthly fee on our card, a certain amount also goes and burns G999. As GS Media launches. Yes, go for it.
I just want to clarify something. That burning in that wallet, yeah, it's on a decentralized exchange. So no person at GS Bank or wherever can go in and manipulate. That's totally out of any one person's hands. It's on a decentralized exchange. Blockchain. It's totally out of anybody's. Because I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, are you manipulating it by, those coins are going in, somebody could do it." It's gone. There's no way of touching those coins.
And Malcolm, not just that, but you can see those coins. So the way that a burn wallet is set up is they set up a burn wallet is set up with a private and a public key, and those keys are not saved anywhere. They're not held by any one person. The wallet's created immediately. The keys are thrown away, for lack of a better word. And so with G999, what they've done is that they've allowed anyone to access that wallet to see what's in there. And that's called a deflationary explorer. So the explorer measures every minute the number of coins that are going out the system, and it shows you the address where they're going to. So we can see this accumulation of burned coins, and we can see real time the number of coins going out of the ecosystem. So that's a deflationary explorer. There's also a normal explorer that shows you all transactions that are happening, whether it's coins minted in or coins moving between exchanges or wallets or messaging apps. You can monitor all movements and you can monitor all burn. It is worth saying, Binance, which is it's in the top 3 coins at the moment, they actually do a burn as well, but they do it 4 times a year. They do it every quarter, where they accumulate a certain amount of coins and then they centrally burn it and then make public. Okay, we've just burned X amount of coins. Ethereum, which is moving from proof of work into proof of stake, it's changing how it operates by creating what we call hard forks, is also going to be adding in a burn function similar to G999's, where you will in time be able to see real-time burning of the Ethereum coin as well. So there's an awareness in the cryptocurrency community, and there's awareness around blockchain projects that whilst this reward mechanism is imperative to secure the security of your blockchain, it's also imperative to secure scarcity of that reward. And that scarcity is introduced through deflationary models and through burning.
No, look, that's great. It's great to have an understanding of this. And while we're talking about that, how we look at market cap on different exchanges. We go to CoinMarketCap. How should we look at G999's market cap? Because obviously with the deflationary, it makes it maybe a bit more complicated. So how do you look at the market cap in G999? Because it's not. I don't think it shows it on all the exchanges what the actual market cap. So how do we look at it?
Look, the word market cap, different people are going to interpret that slightly differently, because again, there's slightly different definitions. Some people believe that market cap is the number of coins in current existence times the price of the coin. You know, they kind of go, that's the market cap and that's the price of the coin, and there's your market cap. Other people go, well, market cap and supply should be taken into account, because it changes the metrics of the coin slightly. I think the way that we would probably look at our coin, and it's probably a three-part calculation, is one, you want to pull up the Explorer and you want to look at how many coins are in wallets and on exchanges, because whether a coin is in a wallet and off the market doesn't change the fact that that person who holds the coins could wake up tomorrow and decide to sell all of them. So even coins that are in wallets, we should be considering as market cap, and coins that are in exchanges. And again, we will see some coins that are locked into like nodes. Those are still in node wallets. You can still go and see those. The difference is that those, can't be dumped. They kind of have to be held for 12 months at a time. But you should go and look at all wallets and exchanges, and you can see that on the Explorer and see how many coins are in existence at a given time, and then go and timestamp that against the deflationary Explorer's timestamp, and that should give you a difference. Yeah. So it would be great. It would be great if Coin Market Cap acknowledged that the deflationary model is now coming into different ecosystems, and probably add that metric so that we get a more accurate reading of market cap. Malcolm, and again, I'm not a Coin Market Cap guy, but I'd love to see the team acknowledge that and put that in.
Yeah. No, it would be nice, because we want the most accurate information. And then I think I want to get onto a bit of the trading of the coin, but just a couple of questions first. Just to clarify, the company does own or holds a number of coins in a wallet. What are those and how many are those? So we can just clarify for people. And I'd like to get a lot of this. There's a lot of stuff that's always going out and saying, where are these coins? Who's dumping these coins? Where are these people? And, we've heard all sorts of stuff about all that. Can you just give us a bit of a breakdown of who's, if I don't know if you have the information, but it should be able to be seen on the Explorer. Who's holding the coins? What has the company got behind them and that side of things?
Yeah, so the company has about 25%, or about 4 billion coins in a large wallet, and that's been set aside for incentives and promotions. The one thing about not having an ICO is that you miss out on that fundraising part of your launch. And the company's missed out on that. But the one here is that they've got 25% of the coins that go back into incentives, into programs, set aside for a development team. The last thing you want is the coins being paid to a development team. They finish their job, they go into the next project and dump all the coins and hurt the project they've just finished with, right? So there's about 4 billion in a big wallet there. We have seen some dumping, Malcolm. I'm going to be brutally honest. When we hard forked our community, and again, hard forked the community, not the chain, out of a failed ICO, not everybody came across and went, okay, I'm in this for the long haul. People were hurting. We come through COVID, and people needed to get rid of coins. And there were some people who had put a lot of money into the last ICO and hadn't seen the fruition. So they've also just dumped, a fair amount of coin on the market. So we saw some good price climbs in probably month 3 of the project, up to just past 2 cents. We've seen it come back down. It's sitting at about half a cent, or maybe a fourth of a cent today with the crypto dip that we're all going through. Yeah. But I would say we've definitely seen some wallets dumping. No, it hasn't come out of corporate. You can go track that. If anything, you'll see that the dumping is coming through some of the exchanges, which means that people who received coins have gone on to, the Bitforexes, the HIT BTCs, to try and find the best price they can get for their sale, and they've sold their coin like en masse. I'm out. So we have experienced that.
I see on GS Trade there's about 9 million coins sitting on GS Trade and on a sell order at the moment. So there seems to be quite a few coins over there. And that is a question that's been asked, is who's dumping these coins, and and why is that? And if you look at the coin over the last, so if we get into now a little bit about the actual coin and its tradability and that side of it, it is sort of flatlined a little bit over the last while. And I know that there's been a lot of coins bought off vouchers. Do you know how many coins roughly? Is there a way that we can see how many coins are being bought through market buys and just taking them off the exchange?
Yeah, we can just, again, Malcolm, your Bitcoin Explorer, that's your port of call for any coin movement. Whether a coin is being bought off an exchange and moved to a wallet, or whether a coin is being sent from one user to another, the Explorer just sees it as a movement. It doesn't, someone bought, someone sold. It just measures a movement. And so your blockchain Explorer is the best place to go look at movement of coins.
Yeah.
I love your comment on the price has been flatline, and we've chatted about that.
Yeah.
There's very small volume, tradable volume out there on this coin. A lot of people are purchasing the coin and hodling, removing them off exchanges into the noding, into the staking, into the DeFi rewards program that is launching. A lot of people are getting coin in anticipation of the launch into the NFT space, because obviously, like any NFT, there's going to be auctions. And our auction currency within our ecosystem will be G999. So there's not a lot of volume out there. And I think this is where the trading community, and Malcolm, you're part of that trading community, really plays a role in educating people on what happened if there was some more volume on the market. What if we were placing some buy orders here and sell orders there, and buy and sell, and creating a bit of a heartbeat? It's a young coin, it's a young community. We're not seeing that yet. And so education is key in that space.
Yeah, look, I think it's a very important thing. And there's talking to traders and dealing with them and being involved in that community at the moment. I think one of the most important things I've learned over this whole time is about responsibility. It's about responsibility with your assets, and how you actually use only a small percentage of your asset to actually trade with. And I think there's a misconception when people are saying, oh, you must be trading your coins and you must be doing this, thinking that, oh, now I've got to take all my coins out of my DeFi and my nodes. And that's the last thing we want. That's the last thing anybody wants. People must be doing that. But there's no reason why they can't be taking 5 or 10% and building that volume on exchanges. And with your experience in the trading market, I mean, what sort of percentage are you trading with? And would you, I don't want to put you on the spot as a financial advisor, but I mean, what do you sort of think one should be trading with?
So 5%. I'm probably not your bullish trader, because there are guys trading 10% of their portfolio, and that's super healthy. If you know what you're doing. I'm a 5% guy. I have spoken to guys who are trading 2%, but yeah, 5% is probably healthy for my anxiety level.
Yeah. So I think that's so important that people understand that if they can just take a small percentage, even if it's 2%, that's going to make a difference, because the volume, if you could just explain maybe just in your terms, why you think the volume and the liquidity, I mean, it's just there's not enough trades going on at the end of the day. I suppose the simplicity of it.
Yeah, and I think it's worth for the non-traders to understand that there's essentially two buying price points on an order book, on an exchange at any given time. There's something called the market taker, where you're arriving and you're buying it at the cheapest price possible. And so the market's going, okay, you're matching our cheapest price. You haven't made market, you haven't helped move market up or down. You're just buying it for what it is. And it's a little bit like going house shopping and not haggling a little bit with the estate agent. You want the better deal, or going car shopping and not asking, why would we do that on an exchange? Why would we just accept that? So what traders do is traders never accept that. Traders go, no, I want the best price here. So I'm gonna put the order in here, a little bit lower maybe, or I'm gonna up there. And so traders are always looking for a better deal, and that's called market making. And when you see that happening, you see orders, you see buy orders and sell orders going onto the exchange book, not at market taker price, maybe higher or lower. And so that's where the volume comes from.
Yeah, and then that also creates great liquidity because now suddenly there's a strong order book, and then that's what traders love to see. They want to see that volume and they want to see that liquidity. They don't want to go and put a whole lot of trade on there and there's no liquidity on the exchange, and then the thing bottoms out. So it's so important that for this coin to move, we need to get people actually starting to help move the coin, because at the end of the day, the utility can be wonderful, can be absolutely brilliant. But if the coin isn't, people are going to have to go onto an exchange and buy the coin. That's where the coin is sold, whichever exchange, to go and utilize the utility. So it's going to need to be traded. And just even if you're not a trader, even if you're just going on to buying a coin on an exchange, you're still trading. You're making a buy or a sell, whichever way you look at it. So it needs to happen there. That's what's going to drive this coin. And I think, just looking at a lot of what's been going on is that there needs to be a balance. And the balance is not 50-50. The balance is saying, let's get a small portion of your asset and move it onto the exchange. The rest you're going to hold and then use that and start building from there. So our goal in the trading side is, what we're interested in with all coins, when we're trading, is we try to accumulate. We're not going out there just to sell everything we've got. We're actually going to buy and sell, and we're wanting to accumulate. So is there anything that you'd like to just sort of on the trading side and just chatting to the community and people who are wanting to get into G999 and why it's a good coin to get into and to trade, and where do you see the bullish side of this coin going?
Yeah, so I think it's useful to know that there are key dates within the project's roadmap even. And one of the key dates that is coming up later in the year is it's the launch of the NFT space, where the coin will be used as an auction token. So again, it's got multiple utility across different platforms, but it's going to be used in this NFT auction.
Hey, Bruce, I've lost this. I lost you there for a bit.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear
better?
You.
Okay. It's worth understanding that when the company moves into the NFT space, that the G999 token will also form part of that auction process for NFTs. And the lowest price that will be accepted on that coin is 2 US cents. That's the set price if it's going to be used in that NFT auction space. So what that can start doing, just to let people understand, is that should start letting people know that it's got a set value in a ecosystem. And so if people want to enter into that ecosystem, they're going to have to go buy that coin from somewhere. And that coin's going to be on the markets like it is now. And that's where traders can really start going, how do we put volume out there? How do we get the best sell order as a trader? How do we get solid buy orders in place? Because there's almost a price mark that's being set in the market that you can trade towards. But also secondly, once that NFT space does launch, a large portion of the coins get burnt off in the auction process, which puts a high demand on the coin over time. And so for the trading community out there, it'll be good to have a healthy order book now. It'll be great to have a healthy order book later, when that natural organic demand is coming through, because then you want to be the trader haggling for the best price, right? Because the best price might be quite a bit higher than 2 US cents. So for anyone looking at this coin, there's a useful little price point to pay attention to, specifically in the NFT space, that'll have a knock-on effect on the coin on the open market as well over time.
Yeah, and I love what you said there, that it's, I think one doesn't want to, you want to gradually build up that order book, and we want to build up the volume and liquidity. So when the coin actually launches, that it's really healthy. And I think that's something that we would just like to ask people, guys, if you're going to be buying, let's go onto the exchanges, let's place, you can stack orders, buy orders and sell orders, and get the best price. If the coin's going to drop, it's going to go up. What goes up comes down, what goes down goes up. That's the way it works. So you can get really good prices, and then you can sell at really good prices, and we've got a cycle going and build a really good order book. So yeah, Bruce, look, this has been really informative. It's been really great, and just getting to grips with understanding what the G999 coin and the utility in that offers behind us, a bit of clarification on how the system works and who's got the coins. It's, you know, it's great to know that the company's open and lets us know they're transparent. We've got 4 billion coins. There are dumpers out there that guarantee that the company's not dumping coins. And yeah, for those, you know, people want to, there are always going to be people who want to dump coins and get out quickly, but it's not really the wisest. You know, we've got to face it. But it's an opportunity for us to get in there and trade and build this coin. So yeah, thank you so much. And I don't know if you've got anything else you'd like to add before we close off. Or I think
Malcolm, it's been so good. Thanks so much for having me on this chat. Honestly, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. And so in closing, I just want to say to all you guys out there, you know, when looking at a project, any project, and you're going into crypto, have a look what's behind it. You know, you don't have to listen to what your mate said or what somebody else said. You know, actually go to the company. You know, I'm going to want to have a chat to hopefully some of the corporate people and some of the people in that, and find out as much as you can. You know, go and look at the Explorer, look at the white paper, you know, any coin, no matter whether it's G999 or Bitcoin or whatever you're interested in getting in Ethereum, go in and find out from the source. And that's where you're going to get your best information. So that's my goal. And I'm really great that you've been on board to help us understand that. And thanks, Bruce. Yeah, I'm just going to stop.